I think I've swayed my hips more in my old age than when I was younger. Eugeena, you still got it, girl. The man in front of me wasn't moving too bad either. Amos Jones had his two-step game going strong, like a man 20 years younger. Even with the light shimmering off his bald head, I could picture how good-looking he'd been back in the day. He was still handsome in my book, aged like fine wine. Both formerly widows, Amos and I, now Eugeena Patterson-Jones, had finally embarked on the honeymoon we should have taken over a year ago. Why so long? Well, certain events delayed our breakaway from our daily life. And there were the unexpected mysteries that I'd been determined to solve. But a sister had grown tired of coming across people who committed unspeakable acts of evil, like murder. I'd experienced many melancholy days and a few nightmares that stole my sleep at night. The amateur sleuth hobby had not been how I planned to spend my retirement years. Let's just say it was good to get away. Tonight, the blues permeated the air, but I was quite giddy. An incredible feat, seeing as I was 550 miles away from my beloved home. I had spent all my life in Charleston, South Carolina, where I was born and raised. The most visited city in South Carolina. I'd seen people from all over the world in my hometown, but I hadn't traveled much outside of the Palmetto State. I loved my Sugar Creek neighborhood, where I'd spent more than half my life raising kids, being married to my first husband, and in the past few years, meeting my new hubby. Amos proposed driving up to Music City, but I didn't see myself sitting in a car for 8 hours. We were way too old for that. Conquering my trepidation for flying, we made it to Nashville, Tennessee, yesterday afternoon. I hated I missed church, but Amos caught a good deal on our flight out of Charleston International Airport. Now, after a morning of sightseeing and an afternoon nap, we were, to Amos's amusement, hanging out in what I called a juke joint. The Blue Note Lounge, in fact, was very sophisticated, with its textured walls, cushy seats, and mahogany tables. It was certainly no hole in the wall, not that I knew much about those kind of places. The Blue Note's walls were lined with portraits of musicians, both famous and local. Although it was called the Blue Note, in addition to the blues, tonight we'd heard everything from Motown classics to jazz, while the lounge band wrapped up a lively number. Amos held his hand on the small of my back, guiding us back to our table. I wasn't sure how we were lucky enough to be seated near the stage. In the corner, to our right, was an old jukebox. In between the band sets, someone would push buttons, keeping the atmosphere festive. Now that we were seated, I had a chance to see the beautiful singer dressed in a dazzling royal blue dress. She delighted the crowd and was ending her set with "What a Difference a Day Makes," which I recognize as one of my mama's favorite songs. Mama loved Dinah Washington. It was one of the few things I remembered about her. Our server swung by. Her big smile lit up a round face. She wore her hair in box braids that were swept up on top of her head. "Y'all want y'all drinks refilled?" While others were drinking spirits, I wasn't trying to be too adventurous.